Welcome back to another episode of Unique Moments. And this episode is going to be a little different. So I'm going to do a part one and a part two. I have two lovely guests, two very dear friends of mine. And I really just wanted to have a conversation centered around masculinity and femininity. A little bit of backstory. So depending on who you are, what you're paying attention to, what you're tapped into with society, with the internet, it's like I don't feel like there's a war. Well, bad choice of words. I don't feel like there's a battle between the sexes. That's not how I feel. I do think that men and women are, let's say, clashing. Obviously, we've been different since the beginning of time. That's no secret. But maybe just being a millennial or just being in modern day dating or just looking around, it's just not harmonious. It's like the women feel one way, the men feel another. And I really just wanted to have a conversation with two of my good friends about their perspective. And we do talk about a lot of different things, and it's not really meant to be educational. It's really just a conversation, just to kind of pick their brains about what's going on. Both conversations went in two very different directions, but I think it was all helpful nonetheless. So just some numbers before we get into the episode. Um, we talk about a lot of things. We kind of go a bunch of different places, but some things that we do talk about are toxic masculinity. And psychologists define toxic masculinity as extreme social norms that pressure men to be dominant, unemotional, or anti feminine. And there was a research study done in 2026 of 15,000 men, and they found that there are really only about 11% of men that displayed traits, like actual traits of toxic masculinity. And then there was another survey done in 2024 of 2,000 men, which showed that 50% of men feel pressured to act manly, and about 80% of men said that society expects them to behave in a certain way. And so we talk about that, me and my first guest, Lee, on this episode. We talk about just the pressures men may feel or may not feel. And again, this is from both of their own perspectives. So put it where it goes. And then some other research. So we talked about relationships a little bit, and I just want to throw out the statistics that Black Americans have the lowest marriage rates in the US, with 34% of Black men married and 29% of Black women married, compared to the 48% of US adults that are married overall. And so there is a section where we talk about relationships, and I think there's a lot of things that go into the imbalance of Black Americans being married. Researchers have attributed this to economic disparity, incarceration rates, education gaps, but there's also dating culture, right? So that's a little bit more of a nuanced conversation, and taking it out of a Black and man married context. A research study done in 2025 found that 42% of US adults are single or unpartnered. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know the record numbers if we're chronically single, but it just feels that way. Like, why can't people get together, get in relationships, stay married? And that's not the whole episode, but that's a part of it. And in a part of the episode, I read a passage from Bell Hooks, All About Love. Love that book. Will recommend it to whoever can pick up a book. And in the book, she talks about how, like, this new modern idea that we have of love and of partners today, they're asked to meet our emotional needs, our financial needs, our romantic, psychological needs, which was historically spread across communities to take care of instead of being delegated or relegated to one person. And so I think that also contributes to some of the dissonance and the dynamics of men and women that we have. But that's just to prime the episode. It really is just a free flowing conversation, and I hope you. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Unique Moments, where we take a moment to breathe, take a moment to pause, reconnecting mind, body, and spirit. And today I have a guest on the show.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Leland. I go by Lee. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you for joining us. And today this is going to be a two-part episode. So today we're going to be talking about masculinity And then next week, I'm going to do the part two with another guest, and we're going to discuss femininity. So, a little bit about kind of how this topic came about and why we're discussing it. So, I was at dinner with a friend, and we were just talking, and she was saying how she felt like masculinity was fake or like the patriarchy is fake. Like she was saying how and she does lean toward being a feminist. I will say that. So she was just basically saying it's kind of like a tool that men use or have made up to silence women or to put women in this box or to put this societal structure in the way that we think about it in some sort of box. So yeah, I just wanted to have a conversation and discuss. I consider Lee to be a very masculine male on the non-toxic side of it. So we're going to talk about it. Is masculinity toxic? Can it be? What is masculinity? What role does it play? And yeah. So the first question I have for you is when you hear the word masculinity, like what comes to mind or what do you think about?
I think of the word refined. I think respect. I think effort with calculated results. I think leader. I think exceptional, and I think model.
Do you think you identify with most of those qualities?
Yes.
Okay. And but where did that come from? Like your idea of being a male or being masculine?
I basically just took in features, or I can imagine features that um, a proper masculine person should have, and those are pretty much all of them.
Do you feel like your idea of masculinity has changed or evolved as you've gotten older, or do you think it's kind of like stayed consistent of what you think men are?
No, my idea of men change as I get older. Older, you get smarter. You see more men. You able to realize what the men are doing right or wrong. What this person might have in terms of attributes over the next person. And I just mold the image of a proper masculine man as I go. Like next time we have this conversation, it's possible that it could be different.
Hmm. Do you think we're seeing that proper masculinity?
Yes, proper masculine is everywhere. It just it's just it's just like all the other titles though. You gotta be looking for it, you gotta be in the right place, you gotta be with the right people. But it's everywhere we go. It's proper masculine everywhere.
Okay. And so me and my friend Jean, we were talking about not gender roles specifically, but the women have a place and men have a place. Whatever place you think that is, maybe due to your
Hmm.
upbringing, maybe due to your beliefs, whatever you think. Um, but I think they're meant to work together. I think she leans on the side of not that we don't need men for things, but women can accomplish things without the use of a man.
I disagree.
And why?
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I think she's saying that she can operate and other women as a whole could operate in a world in which men aren't needed.
And you disagree with that.
I disagree because if men aren't needed and a man busts in her house or two men, or let's say more men than her pistol got bullets
I was
for,
gonna say, yeah, what if she has a gun?
more men than her pistol got bullets for, then what? You might just need another group of men to come save you. You might need a man to lift something off of your body if it fall on you. You might need a man to pick you up and take you somewhere or put you in the ambulance. You might need a man to
Why can't a woman do that?
just don't work like that. You know how hard it is for you to
There's very strong women out there.
outliers. Again, let's
Okay. Okay.
but at the end of the day, if it's something that's 300 pounds, 400 pounds on you, let's say you 300, 400 pounds, and you need to get, you need to go
Gotta
somewhere,
call a man.
you're going to have to call a man. Plus, men built this world. Like, like you, if something happened to you, you're in an aggressive situation, you better hope a man show up instead of women. See what I'm saying? You might get a safer outcome. You might get protected in a different way.
Okay. And I don't want to stray too far off, but what will you say to the women who don't trust men or like have had negative experiences with men? Could be friends, could be fathers, brothers, society.
You're not gonna like it.
What do you mean?
You're not gonna like my answer.
Oh, please share. This
Get
is the
over it.
open discussion. We're just gonna have a conversation. What
Get
do you mean
over
get
it.
over it?
It's simple. Get over it. At the end of the day,
I'm saying, okay, let's take a very, maybe it's an extreme example.
yeah.
Trigger warning, maybe, but like abuse. And I don't mean just domestic violence, but like abuse,
Get
verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse.
get
Get
over
over it.
it. At the end of the day,
If men have wronged you in your life up until this point, get over it and start trusting men and
there's
leaning on
only
men.
two species out here. One of them is gonna been done harmed you. We get that. Like it's only two. It's not 30 of them.
Okay.
So if it's only two of them, and whatever the situation is in which you got harmed, you can't blanket statement F all of them now.
Right. That's not what I'm saying.
And put men in the bowl of avoidance as a group because a small percentage, less than 0.5% of the men of the world has wronged you. You bucket the other 99.938 men, like percent.
No, I agree with that. You can't throw the whole species away just because.
Yeah, we get bad stuff happen to somebody, but bad stuff gonna happen to everybody from every version of the species. Can't write them all out for that.
So what role do you think men have?
Yeah, men got damn near every role. See what I'm saying? Like a proper man has the ability to do all the roles. It's some that, of course, a woman can do better, and a woman's psychology and chemistry is probably built better for. But a man should be able to do all of the roles.
Do you think men think that?
Proper ones, yeah.
So when you say proper, because I have a question about toxic masculinity, is that what you would consider improper?
I don't really see.
Or do you think toxic masculinity is a thing?
I don't think it's a thing. I just think it's another made up term for women to then throw some type of blame or shame on a group of men, on a group. That's like saying toxic. Every title you could throw toxic on, and it'll apply. Toxic happiness, toxic leadership, toxic.
Do you not think that's true?
I mean, yeah, but it's so true for everything that moves on Earth. I can't sit here and just the toxic masculine. It's not a.
But that's a different thing, though. Because you know what people mean when they talk about toxic masculinity. It's like you're overly operating in your masculine, like overly in your ego, overly trying to prove, overly not asking for help, overly not like respecting women or doing all of these things.
That's not necessarily, those aren't quote unquote masculine attributes though. Those are just like, those are things that men might do and women do as well. But I wouldn't blanket those things and say that those are masculine traits. I don't think having a ego is quote unquote masculine.
It's not. It's not. Everybody has an ego.
I don't think being aggressive is quote unquote masculine. I don't think not asking for help is masculine. I don't think that.
We're going to see what they define toxic masculinity as. It refers to harmful traditional stereotypes of male behavior such as emotional suppression, extreme toughness, and aggression that pressure men to act in rigid ways. So you don't think that's true?
I mean,
like people who are like, don't cry, be a man. Don't show emotions, be a man.
I know that those things are just, those are bad expectations for quote unquote men. But if the men do fall in the hole of performing in those bad attributes, I just wouldn't call it toxic masculinity. That's just a bad person.
So do you not think there's a real difference? Because a lot of the things what you've been saying is like men and women have. Like, do you not really associate a difference between like the masculine and the feminine. Because I think about it in terms of like energy, like
That's fair.
especially spiritually. Like I think women, and I could be wrong, I do think people have both attributes, but I think women are more receptive. Like women are more emotional. Like men tend to be more logical, like you said, more grounded, more kind of structure thinking. Like our brains fundamentally think differently.
Of course.
And so it's like I think there is a divine difference
Of course.
between
Me
the
too.
way like men behave and the way women behave. But
I think
everything
it
you've
is
been
too.
saying seems like it could go either way.
I think that there is a clear difference in the two. But I think when you try to, I don't think you can exclude like attributes of how about this? Let me reword it. So I do think it's a clear difference in men and women. Like we totally different actually. Nah,
Opposites,
yeah,
some might say.
yeah. But with that being said though, I definitely don't think that um that if a man has negative things about him and he's a man, so he's gonna have the manly attributes that you might call masculinity or whatever because he's a man.
Mm-hmm.
If he negatively displays his own attributes, maybe he negatively displays his ego, his attention, his care for women, his whatever y'all want to go with. If he negatively displays this, to blanket it as toxic masculinity just because it's a male portraying poor displays of attributes, I don't think the term should be toxic masculinity that we seeing right here. I just think it's just a
A
bad
bad
a
person.
bad person, a bad male because the things that you might be calling him a toxic masculine for, I'm pretty sure a woman falls in the same category. What we gonna say? She toxic masculine too now?
I mean, I think that's what they mean when they say the woman is operating in her masculine. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that could be. She's displaying traits of toxic masculinity.
So for the women that are overly aggressive, let's say even aggressive just with other women or men, she don't want to ask for help. She thinks she all that in a bag of chips.
Super independent, super.
But she's soft too at the same time, and she nurturing, and she love her kids, and she all of these things that make her a woman too. So she operate in both feminine attributes, but because she aggressive and got a tough ego, you gonna say she toxic masculine?
When she's displaying those qualities. Is that what we're labeling her as? I think that's the issue. Like when people like call masculinity toxic or men toxic, like you said, I think they're applying it to the whole thing. And it's like they just might be that day. But I think it's when people have this pattern of overly macho, I run the world, everything revolves around me, people move the way I like, that's toxic now. And I think traditionally men are seen to act that way more than women, and women are caring for people. They're the nurturers. They're considering people. They're carrying the emotional labor and the emotional weight of relationships.
I guess you know a lot of the rules that we have here, a lot of the laws that we have here, is because a man done convinced other people that their way of thinking and whatever rules they want, that's what's gonna win. So
What do you mean?
I'm saying like in the world that we live in, you gotta think. We of course, you might want to run across people who are very mindful of others. They let other people talk, they let other people get the mic sometime, they let other people all of that. But at the end of the day, that's just a choice that we got. If I don't want to say it like too crazy, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna just say it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not absurd for um whatever somebody want to be law, like to be what it is. You don't got it. You lucky if somebody give you the mic. And me as another man, I'm lucky if somebody give me the mic. But
Like that's not owed to you.
it's not owed to you. So yeah, it might be somebody who don't hear nobody. This they world, you just living in it. They got a crazy ego. All of this shit revolve around them. Period. And if that is the case, I wouldn't say that's a toxic masculine. That's a
They
person.
just
That's just a reg. That's honestly what we all should be like. It sound crazy, but we all
it's
should be for self,
bordering not narcissistic, but self-centered. I agree. We should all be for self.
for self
But
and
I think it's
family.
when it becomes I think it can be harmful at times.
I think it's only harmful when it affects somebody. Anybody could be just for self if they're in a room by themselves and it's all
Right.
fun. But as soon as you or somebody else you know in the room, nah, it's a problem because they all for themselves. But that's naturally like we all are for ourselves in a way because society, because of the tribes we
Yeah, we
made,
all are, yeah.
because of community, we eventually became the type of people who care for others and we might hear what a motherfucker got to say.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, every king that ever existed, every ruler, he would just like the people that you explaining to be toxic or or overly masculine. The nigga would just pro him, and all his thoughts was what he was gonna see.
I see what you're saying. I do think there's a distinct difference, though, and maybe I'm not articulating it in a way, but I don't know.
You said women, they care more about you know they're gonna be mindful. They care about how things feel. They carry their relationship in a different way and all of that. I think that's what y'all nature is to be like y'all nature. I think it's going against what makes a man toxically masculine and all of that, quote unquote. I think that's just a man behaving more in his natural element without the society's rule. What make him toxic is when he's just being a regular man with all the attributes of a regular man, but instead of conforming to what people want him to do or want him to say and treat and act towards others,
Hmm.
now it's toxic. When he ain't really doing nothing that's honestly not what he shouldn't be doing. Unless you run around here beating people, that's different.
Right, right, right. No,
But like
but
if a dude just loud and for him and for his cause and for what he want, you can't call that toxic masculine. It's just him being a regular man. You when y'all built
wrapped
to
in
conform,
himself.
y'all built to conform with the laws. Y'all want
When you
to
say y'all, what do you mean?
women
Women are built to conform, and men are built to.
change, dominate. Like we the ones who gonna stand up and be loud about some shit. And it's not loud about what the 30 homies in the back said. No, we loud about what I thought about this morning. I'm loud about that. Fuck what the homies was talking about. Fuck what my woman was talking about. I'm loud about the shit I thought this morning. But y'all gonna be loud about the shit the 30 people behind y'all loud about.
But again, because I think it comes from a place of wanting to contribute to a larger thing other than myself. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's not toxic, but I think men are inherently selfish. And I think people are, like you said, I mean, we're all kind of in our own little
But you gotta
worlds.
be.
You do have to be, but I think there's this, like, I'm not trying to take it in the scope of relationships, but I think, let's just say relationships. I think there's this like underlying thing that women make sacrifices, and maybe they're doing it without being asked and because it's in their nature and whatever, but I think it's this idea that like the men get to do whatever they want to do and then the women have to adapt.
This is what you're not gonna like. This is what you're not gonna like at all. But if that has been the case since the beginning of time, if 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 since the beginning of time men quote unquote did whatever they wanted and women were always the ones adapting. Now fast forward till today, it's still the case. I personally don't think that that's a thing to we got to accept sometimes.
But we also, the world is not how it was before. We have progressed. We have made significant progress
Not in not
in the
ex-
realm of women and the role that they play in society. When they were
I
when they
disagree.
were you don't think we've made progress?
I just think it looked different. I
What do you
I
mean?
think at the end of the day,
I
men.
think what you're talking about, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, is like women had no choice. Like they're gonna say no to their father, they're gonna say
No,
no to their husband.
no,
No.
no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at the end of the day, women always gonna conform. Now and then in the future, they gonna always conform.
But why can't men do that also?
It's just not how it works,
But you're saying it's not how it works because it's not how it's worked.
and it won't.
Why can't that? Why?
Just what it is. That's like saying why do just
What do you mean?
it's just not how it works. It just won't happen. I get what you want. I get how you foresee a perfect future, but it don't work like that.
Okay, because are you saying that simply because that's just how it's always been, or because men are not capable of doing that?
It's not that we're not capable. We just prefer not to.
Do
And
you think women want to always conform? No.
only if it sounds messed up, but at the end of the day, the most dominant of a species rule wins.
Yeah,
All right.
I
I'm not.
agree.
So at the end of the day, if the most dominant of the species rules win, and the most dominant of the species might be the man, then at the end of the day, y'all, that's just the case.
Okay, and do you think, because we're speaking from a view, and I don't know what view you're speaking of, but I'm thinking we live in America, we live in a patriarchy. Do you think that is the same with cultures who are matriarchal or cultures who have women in leadership? Do you think that is the same? Or do you think people acquiesce to them because they are the ones, they are the dominant ones? Or do you
It's
think that male energy, because again, it's very different, because I do think the males tend to dominate, but I think that's the whole issue. It's like it seems like women are not even catching up, because that makes it sound like we're behind, but it seems like, okay, women have earning power now. Like women can have autonomy over their bodies and their rights and their who they want to marry. So it's like it seems like it's like an equal fair thing, but it's also not. It's like this underlying thing. And again, I don't know if it's because we live in a patriarchy, but it's like this underlying thing that women are always, and me speaking as a woman, maybe it's more noticeable to me. Like we're always, it's like a little bit lesser.
I agree. I agree.
Do you think that's true though?
Uh,
Because men would not be here if it were not for women. So how could we be the lesser
I
anything?
I don't think it's that y'all are the lesser. I just think that y'all are the less impactful. Like, how about if we needed to go take something, you're gonna send a group of men. If you needed to, it sound messed up. This is really gonna sound, but if you need to quickly accomplish certain things, 9 times out of 10, you're just gonna send a group of dudes. You're not gonna send a group of women.
Because we can't quickly accomplish things.
It's gonna be a difference in performance.
Of course, we're different. Yeah.
Yeah. So why not just go with the peak performance for the
But
result
why
that
are
you
you
want?
assuming that the
Just what it
males are the
is.
ones who have the peak
That's
performance?
just usually what it is. That's just the case.
I don't like how these claims aren't backed up by anything, but
I mean,
okay.
but we could. It's all anecdotal almost, but we could like just picture. We could just imagine it. Like it might not even have to be backed up, like officially. Imagine it. Like if you wanted to, if we in here invading people country, taking presidents, doing all type of crazy shit right now.
Yeah, you're not going to send a bunch of women
Why not?
because that's different.
But why? Why not send the elite, highly trained team of SEAL team
I
7
mean, you
women?
can. You actually can.
Or you can't.
Or what do you think?
I
Truth,
don't think you can. I
but
think,
there are women in combat. Like,
yeah,
you
sure,
know?
sure. Yes, it could be some women in combat, 50 men next to them. Bet it is.
So do you think, to that point of the combat and the men, like, do you think the men are the protectors, are the providers? Because I saw this clip on Instagram, and Leo Skeppy, I don't know if you know him, but he was talking about how, and a lot of people, they're just like, men need to grow up, like take care of the women. Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be paying the bills, you're supposed to be taking care of them, you're supposed to, like, what are you doing?
I
Like, it's
mean,
like instinct and natural. Do you think that's true, or do
no,
you think this is a narrative that has been
that's
like
just a narrative y'all
told
wish
for
was the case.
generations? What do you mean?
It's just a narrative you wish was the case.
Why do you
You,
think men should not take care of? Because to me, and I'm not saying I believe this wholeheartedly, but in an ancient primitive sense, the men would take care of the woman would take care of the child, just in a very black and white.
I mean, yeah,
That makes sense to me.
but they didn't just take care of any woman.
Of course, theirs.
Okay, so how did they become their woman though? Like we missing too many steps here.
I think personally, it's instinctual. Like I think in today's realm of dating or whatever, I think we it's just a little complicated, and like I think people are asking for care from people that aren't their partner, kind of a thing.
Okay.
But I think you're saying how do men pick them? I think you know.
Well, I'm not saying how I'm saying that you think that it's primitive for women to be taken care of by men and all of this.
Yes,
I agree for certain women and certain circumstances
which
to get
are
taken care of. If you are solely a man and you are a part of what contributes to that man, then yeah, he has to take care of all his assets. Just like he shine his knife, he sharpen his knife, he gonna sharpen his woman. Just like
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, he do whatever with his other assets, he gonna do the same thing with his woman. He take care of those things. But I don't think women are. How about this? The way I see it is like this: in order for it to make sense for a man to take care of a woman or quote unquote grow up with a for a woman or whatever the case is,
Hmm.
the woman has to be doing equal parts for the man. I think,
When you say equal parts, what do you mean?
like you said, okay, the man back in the day, ancient masculines will probably take care of the wife take care of the kid, type of thing. Um, Back in the day, men would go off for months and years before they actually come back home,
Hmm.
with the chance of not coming back. So yeah, if you're thinking about prolonging your bloodline, you gotta take care of this woman. Like
Hmm.
you gotta make sure she survives, because this might be your only chance in making sure your kid, your lineage survives. So it was different terms, different scenarios and circumstances that made that the case.
Right.
Now, women, girlfriends want to be taken care of as if
As
that's still the
that.
case today.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when you think about what's being, and I think that's an equivalent exchange. I take care of you. You don't got to worry about too much other than surviving, and I'm gonna help you even do that.
Hmm.
And you then make sure 100 years from now somehow my bloodline's still on this earth.
Hmm.
That's a fair exchange. But now there is no fair exchange happening. It's
Mm.
real easy for somebody to say, "Oh yeah, men, grow up, take care of the woman, blah blah blah." But what is the fair exchange that a man is
That the
getting in
woman is
return?
providing.
And now that answer is nothing.
But what do you think that looks like? Because there, are you saying nothing because there is no equivalent
No,
today?
there is an equivalent. It just by the most part, women don't have those equivalents. They not performing in those things.
What do you think those things are?
Well, it depends on the man, depending on the needs of the man.
Just in a general sense,
Well,
some things.
well, I think that a man wants um he wants all things in source. Right now, we outsource everything. We cook for ourselves, we clean for ourselves, we acquire things on our own, shop by, like we do everything on our own.
Hmm.
if if a woman could pick up some of those things, that's cool. But a lot of men, well, I'm not gonna say a lot, but some men a man that's capable of taking care of another human
Hmm.
on his dime probably got enough money, as in another human, I mean the woman.
Hmm.
He probably got enough money to pay for all of those things to be done for him still.
Right.
So if that's the case, boom, again, what
Null and void.
you know, what resource do a woman provide? You want to be taken care of. You want to not think about nothing. You hands off. You just want to live and float and shit. Fine. But here go my thing. If that's something that you want, if men should grow up and just do that, why why shouldn't women grow up and come up with an even exchange for men? Why don't women run around and ask men what is an even exchange? I want to be taken care of. What is it that we need to do as a collective to
Hmm.
where we can have that?
Hmm.
But instead of demanding or thinking that it's a requirement for men to,
Just because they're the man
because they have a penis, they should be
is
doing this
nuts.
thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's not a blanket, but I think the requirements have changed. Like before, it was a child, in a very long term sense. Like the
Yeah.
woman can give the man a child, but like that's not what men want,
I
you
mean,
know?
men, I feel like men won't, it's like it's like,
Because I think the conversation amongst some of the female community is like they don't know what they want.
who,
Like
men or women don't know.
men.
Men don't know what they want.
Yeah, men don't know what they want from women because you don't want sex, you don't want to cook and to clean, and for me to like, you don't need all of that. You
Men
don't
know what
need
they
to,
want from women. Women don't know what men want. And they say that men don't know what they want from women. But men know what they want. That's like,
but they're not telling the women.
I mean, why tell a, you sometimes
So you could get what you want. If
you already ain't that. It already ain't that already. You see what I'm saying? You already not, you not what I want already. If you gotta get told. Like you're already not it. So yeah, it's no need. But it's not even supposed to be up for men as a whole to tell the women what, whatever, whatever, because women as a whole not necessarily telling men what they want. We learn, we investigate, we live through life experiences and we extrapolate what is needed for this woman to be happy with me. What do I gotta be? What do I gotta say? How do I gotta look to acquire a woman and keep her? We study that since we were little boys without necessarily sitting down and interviewing and asking a woman, what I need to do to.
Hmm. But I think the confusing thing is, and maybe it's the whole sex conversation, but I think, let's say cheating, for example, because women will say, I'm doing everything right, but he still cheated on me, or he still did this, or he still did this. So it's like, I don't think it's that women aren't equipping themselves with what they think men want, but to your point, maybe it's not what men actually want.
I mean, I think women are quite honestly delusional.
Honestly, what?
Delusional, bad. You think
About
you think that because y'all think that most men shouldn't, if they with you, then they shouldn't have sex with nobody else.
if you're with me, I'm talking like if we're married.
Don't matter.
What do you mean?
It's a delusion. Like,
It's a delusion for me to think if we're married that you would not be with anybody else.
yes, it sounds crazy because you just so deep in the delusion along with your
I think a
counterparts.
lot of, I was gonna say, I think a lot of people would
But think
disagree.
about it though. Think about this. You could say a lot of people would disagree, but you can't think you can't think of more scenarios where a man was married or he had a girlfriend or whatever and he wasn't having sex with
No, I
nobody else.
agree.
So
I agree.
reality itself, the results breaks the delusion, but y'all stay in the delusion.
One, I think it's how we're wired. It's an emotional thing. We form emotional attachment when we have sex. So I think it's a psychological thing. But two, when there are kids involved, I don't think it's wrong to want sexual exclusivity. One, for safety reasons, and two, for emotional reasons, emotional support. Like, but just because that's how it's been doesn't make it right, because the whole other side of it is like, okay, but women can't do that. It's
It's not
preposterous. It's
it's not
blasphemous.
even
Like,
it's not a right or wrong thing. You literally have nature and unnature. That simple. You don't go into a forest or you don't go into the jungle and watch a lion rip a gazelle apart and say that's wrong because of whatever your feelings is.
oh my gosh.
Because honestly, nothing it's wrong to
So
us. It's wrong to us. It's wrong to y'all because we not the lion or the gazelle. But it's just nature. That's just what it is. It's the same thing with men having sex with women, although they got partners. At the end of the day, a lot of men, if not most men, their everything in their head is to express their sexual variety.
mhm.
Most male animals, and humans included, they will they will have sex with multiple
I get
female
that.
counterparts.
But we have,
Whatever rules and stipulations you made or y'all made up in y'all head that will prohibit a man
I
from
don't think
doing
it's
these
made
things,
up.
it
I
don't
think
work.
it's a contract. I think when you sign a marriage contract and you propose to a woman and you say, I want to be with you for the rest of my life, we don't expect that to include a bunch of other women.
Well, I mean, honestly, on he's y'all see here go the thing, and here go the another ill of women not understanding men. Men for unprecedented amount of time has been putting in work to understand the women, how y'all think, what y'all psychology is. Regardless if we act on it or treat y'all as such, we know how women think and feel and
Hmm.
act towards all type of things.
Hmm.
But y'all don't necessarily do that same thing for men.
I
With
get you.
with that being said, men, we not about to like if we marry you and we be with you, we gonna make sure you good. We gonna make sure you healthy, you happy, you got a family, you all of these things. That's what we sign up for, and resources go to you, growth go to you, all of the things that make a human better it goes to you. Period. That's what we signing up for when it comes to marriage. Y'all, y'all need a
And
lot
why can't you add sexual exclusivity to that?
because it's not in our nature. Simple. Y'all can make marriage. Y'all can make boyfriend girlfriend
So then,
relationships. Y'all can make
all
contracts.
right.
You can't beat nature.
Okay. Okay.
But look, how about this? Obviously, though, that's the messed up part. Obviously, we can't beat nature. We've seen thousands and millions of marriages over the
Some
years.
people do it though. Some people.
Outliers, outliers, outliers. For the most part, there is no such thing as male sexual exclusivity. For the most part, we've seen more examples of non-male sexual exclusivity than
I
the actual
agree.
act. So
Because then the mistress wouldn't be a thing. The cheating wouldn't be a thing. The two girlfriends wouldn't be a thing. I get it. Does it make it right?
it's not. But does the lion biting a gazelle on the neck, is that right or
But you're
wrong?
saying something different. They are doing that for sheer survival. They are eating. That
No,
is
no,
how
no.
they are getting
Okay,
their.
they don't. But they don't have to. They don't have to. They don't have to bite the damn gazelle all in the stomach to kill it. They could bite in the neck real quick, put it out of its misery. It's not you saying that it's a. You saying that it's their survival. That's what make it not right or wrong. But in their quote unquote, how about this then? Is um is anything? How about this? How about this? The nature of the lion or male animals out there is to do a bunch of things. The
Mhm.
nature is just their nature. They're gonna do all type of shit. Some of them might be right, some of them might be wrong, quote unquote, and some of them might be for survival. Some of them might not be. When dogs shit, they kick that shit up everywhere. Is that for its survival, or is that just because that's what dogs do naturally?
Mhm.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with
So a dog is going to be a dog, and a man is going to be a man.
lion gonna be a lion. Species is gonna be the species. We can attach what we want, how we want it to go, the rules, the contracts to it. But at the end of the day, nature prevails, and the attribute of man's nature is
Freedom from
sexual expression.
promiscuity.
Sure, sure.
Sexual
And then you gotta think,
expression.
most of the men that y'all want is very less likelier. Like if you marry a lower level man, then you can expect those. You could try to expect, you know, uh, more sexual exclusivity because he can't acquire the opposite species as much. But if a man is capable of acquiring the opposite species, then that's probably what's gonna happen.
I just think I don't know. Clearly, we feel differently. I think for me, it's more like a respect thing, but for you, it's just like it doesn't matter. Like you're saying, they could love their woman, be with them for 50 years, and if they cheat on them, it doesn't take away from the relationship.
Simple.
I don't know if I would say simple, but okay.
But as the non-cheater, as the man, you gotta ask the men who do that type of shit, and
Who
then
don't?
who do it. You gotta ask the men who do it. And once we interview the 50,000 men in our neighborhood who cheating and ask them if that take away from the love, do that mean your wife is less? Do you respect her less or more based off of this? We got to take those answers and go with those. We can't just go off of,
But
I feel like it's disrespectful. Well,
no,
maybe
I
he's not
get that.
disrespecting nobody.
I get that, but again, the perspective is different because what you just described is how the man feels about his actions. You're
Mm-hmm.
not asking the woman how it's affecting her because you don't care, which
It's
goes
not.
back to the
It's not
selfish
that.
thing, which goes back to the men get to do whatever they want to do.
It's not that we don't care, but it don't matter. We not
To
ask,
you,
we not asking
to you.
we not
If it
asking the
didn't
gazelle
matter,
family, bro. How you feel
okay,
about
but
your brother getting eaten
listen,
yesterday? It
listen,
don't
listen.
matter.
It's a difference. I don't like that analogy because if it didn't matter, marriages wouldn't end. People wouldn't
That's because
like
their
divorces wouldn't happen. If it didn't
delusion is
matter,
real. That's all. Delusion is real. If a man is giving a woman everything that she signed up for in a marriage, other than some, okay, it's versions of being sexually, you know what I'm saying, out there.
promiscuous.
Yes, that is divorceable. It's not even a delusion thing. Like, bro, you're doing too much. Like, it's some reasons you
Now
gotta.
you're trying to
It's versions.
break down.
It's versions of all things, and it's versions of what we're talking about that is unacceptable. But there's versions of it that is acceptable. But there's no such thing as a version that's acceptable to you.
And you think that's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong. I think it's delusional.
I just think I just think, what is the point of the whole, like, leave that to the single people. Like, if you want to do that, if you want to sleep around with
Then how
whoever
you
you
gonna have a
want and
how
have
you
no
gonna have a
con,
family?
you don't deserve a family
Yeah,
because
you can't die on this hill of delusion. It ain't gonna be good. It's just simple like this. Men operate in a way,
clearly,
and it stops there. The more you assign right or wrong, or I just do, you gonna hurt yourself because you expecting something from something that can't give you a result in the way in which you looking for. Just not how men get down as a whole. Now, me myself, I'm not even. Only thing I do is observe. I'm an observer.
allegedly.
I'm able to see that, okay, most of the relationships I see with my friends, my family, strangers, my friends is in them family, friends and strangers. Most of these scenarios, men are doing this thing. Okay, I'm gonna conclude that this is just how men is. Like I've seen 5 examples of a sexually exclusive relationship, but I've seen 105 versions of the opposite. Let me just go ahead and conclude that this is how it is, and I stop it there, and I'm just voicing these results to you. With that being said, I don't see how it's I don't see how it's possible for you to also only see 5 versions of the relations going one way, and then you see 105 of it going the other way, and then you sit and say the 105 are the wrong group. Maybe that's just what it is group, and the 5 is the outliers that you wish was the case, but it ain't. But you assign the expectations for that 5 to the 105,
Right,
and that hurt.
right. But I think a part of the reason why it hurts is how men and women are fundamentally different because the piece that you keep leaving out is the feeling piece,
This is
is
new.
the emotional
This is
piece.
new.
No, it's not.
This is new.
Emotions are not new.
No, but the fact that
Feelings are not new.
the fact that you got a problem with your man having sex with somebody else is new.
I agree. I agree.
So it's not a woman
We're
issue.
not meant to be a monogamous species or it's not natural. I agree. But I think my thing is it seems like it's different for men and women. Like many people that I know, like if the man cheats, it's like time, chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. If the woman cheats, it's over and done. And how could you do that to me? Such a betrayal. We're doing the same thing.
Okay, we doing the same thing, but obviously based on results of the
But
thousands, the
hear
sample
me,
size, it means
but
different.
why are we basing it on that and not on the actual?
That is the actual. We basing it on the actual. The actual shows us that if a
Okay.
man do it, we get chances. If a woman do it, y'all wrong as hell. That's the actual. So
But I'm challenging that. I think that's wrong. And you're saying it's right
I'm
because it's how it is.
I'm
I'm
not saying
saying,
that
what if
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the case
that
that
is?
we should abide by in terms of our expectations. Because if not, that's when you
But if
start
you're
going against the
only,
grain that hurt you.
but if you're only, then how do things change? Because if you're only going by what has been and you're perpetuating what has been because what we see does not change, is not going to
The
change.
only thing that changed is things that are adjustable.
That
Those
is adjustable. You can
obviously not.
literally,
Obviously not. Those
or
are
have the men just not been interested in adjusting.
because it's not adjustable. It's not an adjust. That's like saying let all the lions go vegan. They not interested in that.
That's different. Why do
But
you keep using
because
diet? It's different.
okay, but no,
It's so different. Like,
diet is different. Yes, I agree. Diet is different, but the concept is still the same. At the end of the day, there's a natural thing that we gonna do, and that's easy. That's damn near impossible for us to change. Period. So much to the point where nobody's even considered even thinking about doing it. Like what? Who's doing that?
okay,
That's
but
weird.
do you think, humor me, do you think if the women, and let's generalize it, flipped the script and like cheating was just like, let's say illegal,
Yeah.
or like, do you think that would incentivize or help them be able to change that behavior? Or do you think it's physically impossible?
Well, in this scenario, I don't know.
Because like right now, there's no consequence. Like,
There never will be because men make the consequences.
and that's the issue.
Men
And
enforce the.
that's the issue.
No, it's not the issue. The issue is that you want for a species or a group of people to do something that's unnatural to them, and
No.
if they do something that's unnatural, if they don't, the issue is bad expectations. You want men to enforce and push a narrative that's against humans. That's against the species as a whole. And if they don't do it, that's the problem. That's why they shouldn't even be the leaders for real.
I'm not saying if they don't do it. I think the issue is, like you said, the expectation. Like, I think it's like, I'm thinking of a new person born into this world having to almost like be brainwashed into knowing that a man will be a man and you just have to let a
It's
man be
not
a man. It
brainwashed.
is.
It's literally
Just like you said, the other thing is delusion. This can be we're literally, if you're born into a patriarchy, everything around you is low key always brainwashing you. And maybe you're not attuned to it because you are the male, you are the thing that this
but it's
system
not a brainwash. That's
represents.
like saying
It
you're being that's like
is.
saying you're being brainwashed into drinking water. Or
You are. Some people will say we don't need to drink water, we just need to eat
that's
fruit
like
and get
saying
our
okay, that's
hydration.
like saying you brainwashed into eating fruit and getting your hydration.
You can be.
That's like saying you
That's like saying you're.
brainwashed into needing the sun. Or you brainwashed into needing food at all. You brainwashed into thinking
But
you need nutrients.
now you're taking this to, because like that could be argued. Some people can
It
fast
can't.
and say that your body will regenerate itself and you don't need to eat. Like everything can
Eventually,
be
that's because
talked
you
about.
already ate before. That's the only reason why you can fast, because you
Okay.
already ate before.
You're
If you fast forever, you go die.
Okay.
Like you not being brainwashed into doing something that's natural. You can't brainwash yourself into natural behaviors. You're gonna do it anyway. You could just you're not being.
I don't know. I don't know.
Bro, how about this? How about if a new person, they just touched down on Earth, they 25 years old, but they just now seeing Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They here, they never had a conversation with nobody. They just start moving, moving, and they get in a relationship, and they see that their partner probably did some sexually unexclusive things.
Mm-hmm.
They 2 years, 3 years later, whatever happened, the partner lead them for whatever reason. They go on to the next one. They do that about 3, 4 times, and every time they see that the male counterpart keep doing this thing, eventually they be like, "Well, damn, I guess that's what niggas be doing. I guess this is what guys do, what men do. I guess." Were they brainwashed into that, or did they just did did obvious results net them obvious conclusions? I don't think women are being brainwashed into accepting that men are gonna cheat. It's not a brainwash thing. You're not being brainwashed into thinking that you're gonna eat today. You just literally this is just the case. Niggas cheat, men eat, women eat. But this is just the case. It ain't like a brain. It's just what it is. I think the delusion come where the just what it is by nature, not what it is because men forced it to be that. Not what it is because men forced us to accept that. That's not why it is what it is. It is what it is because that's just nature. I think the delusion comes in when you know when you got skew expectations, nature versus reality, or expectation versus reality.
Okay, we're gonna switch gears
Okay.
and I'm gonna read like a little passage from All About Love by Bell Hooks. And the book um is about love, but she's basically saying like the idea that we have of love as a society, as men, as women in relationships is like skewed. Like we really don't know what it is to be loved. We don't know what unconditional love is. We don't know what spiritual love is. Like it's all wrong. And so the book, she breaks it up into different pieces. And this chapter is called Honesty, Be True to Love. And I just want to know your thoughts. So it says, the very concept of being a man and a real man has always implied that when necessary, men can take action that breaks the rules, that is above the law. Patriarchy tells us daily through movies, television, and magazine that men of power can do whatever they want, that it's this freedom that makes them men. The message given males is that to be honest is to be soft. The ability to be dishonest and indifferent to the consequences makes a male hard, separates the men from the boys, which kind of ties into what we were talking about, how men, it's not, I don't want to say lie, but it's like they like just make situations work for them. And it's like not seen as dishonest. But that's not the part I wanted to read. But this chapter is about honesty. It says in his important work, Rediscovering Masculinity, Victor Seidler stresses when we learn to use language as boys, we very quickly learn how to conceal ourselves through language. We learn to master language so that we can control the world around us. Even though we learn to blame others for our unhappiness and misery in relationships, we also know that at some unspoken level, how our masculinity has been limited and injured as we touch the hurt and pain of realizing how little we seem to feel about anything. Estrangement from feelings makes it easier for men to lie because they are often in a trance state, utilizing survival strategies of asserting manhood as they learned as boys. This inability to connect with others carries with it an inability to assume responsibility for causing pain. The denial is most evident in cases where men seek to justify extreme violence towards those who are less powerful, usually women, by suggesting they are the ones who are really victimized by females. So I thought that was interesting. I want to know what you think about that, the whole language piece. Because again, with the one, do you think that most men are disconnected from their feelings, or do you feel like that's a narrative that has pushed and men are actually really in touch with how to emote?
I think proper men are very in touch with their feelings.
Okay. And have no problem like expressing.
Well, no, they don't have a problem expressing it.
Because in my experience, I think a lot of, let's say, proper masculine males, it's not that they're not in touch with their feelings, but it's like, it's just not talked about like out loud or openly. And maybe they discuss it in their small circles, but I think like there is kind of this like shell, I think. And I don't know if it's protection. I don't know if it's maybe you don't have the words to name what you're feeling. Maybe that's it. Or you just don't care to share. But it's like, I think women are so open and naturally they are more emotional, but like women are more open, like talking about things, even resolving conflict. It's like sometimes like most men seem like they just want to like get to the point and get it over with. And why do we have to dig so deep? And it's like, do you think that's limiting or do you think men aren't meant to dig deep?
I mean, I think men dig deep all the time. I think men are meant to dig deep. That's why, no, I think men are meant to dig deep. I think, I just don't think it's necessary to do that out loud with people sometimes. Like, how about a proper man is so thought through
Mm-hmm.
thoroughly to where what good is going through all of this out loud with the homies, with his woman, with anybody? I already thought it all through. I don't need to talk about it. Like, and if a dude decides not to talk about it, then something might be wrong with him or something. But we don't necessarily need to talk about it all the time. Like, we don't need that. More so, like y'all might need it. And I do agree with the passage though. In some spaces, I think at an early age, men do learn how to manipulate the world around them by with words.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just seen a video a couple of weeks ago. It was a little boy. It looked like this is his first year talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably 2, 3 years old, and he's lying. He lying about stuff he don't gotta lie about.
Yeah.
Like it's a big old bag of chips on the bed. He got Cheeto puff all around his face. I'm gonna say, you eat a Cheeto? He said, no, no, I ain't eat that. And mama like, just tell me the truth. Did you eat it? No. He's standing on it.
Red handed.
Why is you? Nobody taught him to lie.
Yeah.
Yet. This is his first year even talking. Why are you lying? And I think with that being said, I just think it's in a man's nature to like the book said, use words
Language.
to manipulate whatever thing that they need. And they learn it from, it's not even a learned behavior. It's just a behavior that we're
Like
born with.
instinctual. But why? Why is that the case?
Who cares? Just what it, I know I'd be saying this, but
I know. Well, this is the dig deeper piece. I'm wondering, and I'm just asking you. I'm not, you may not have the
okay.
answers, but I'm like, because it's like, how is a child, like the easiest thing to me is like the truth. You don't have to search for it. It is what it is. Like, this is what happened. This is what it is.
Lie is just as easy to say and come up with. Literally, you think the truth
But why lie?
because it might get you an outcome that you prefer. Little boy learned that. He might not have wanted his mama to know he ate a Cheeto for whatever reason his little ass got. So he manipulated his words to manipulate his results. It's what it is. I'm not pro lie around here, nothing like that.
Right, right. Now
But
I
I'm
get
just
it.
again just observing what be the case.
So what do you think? Because it says just about the feelings, and you said proper males are meant to feel deep and dig deep, but they don't always need to express it because maybe they've thought through. So she says, from the moment little boys are taught they should not cry or express hurt, feelings of loneliness or pain, that they must be tough, they are learning how to mask true feelings. In the worst case scenarios, they are learning how to not feel anything ever. These lessons are usually taught to males by other males and sexist mothers. Even boys raised in the most progressive, loving households where parents encourage them to express emotions learn a different understanding about masculinity and feelings on the playground, in the classroom, playing sports, or watching television. Were you encouraged to express your feelings?
Uh,
How you grew up?
yeah, I was.
And do you feel like you took that with you, or do you think that molded itself when you saw how other people or other men express their emotions or lack thereof?
Well, I was blessed to get the best of both worlds. At home, I was encouraged to express emotions and understand emotions very well. But also at home, I was taught to I was taught some emotions ain't for us to hear. Some emotions ain't for us to feel. Some emotions are for you. S- Simple. So then when I got out to the playground, I then took it upon myself to distinguish the difference of the two.
Mm,
Which emotions, which thought is for everybody and which ones are just for me.
mm. Do you think that served you well?
Yes. Yeah, I think the world not necessarily built, like you said, the playground, the school, the books, the TV is what taught men the rules of emotion. So that
Mm-hmm.
tells us
And
right,
masculinity.
all right. So that tells us right there that the world is built with the built-in tolerance for male expression and male emotion. And I think men learn that tolerance very early, and proper men adjust accordingly. We give just what you need to give to not break the tolerance and get what you want still. And it's yeah.
But how do you think they discern? Because I think that's the whole, like, where it kind of gets toxic. Because if you're telling the boy, don't cry, don't express your emotions, or don't let anybody see you do this, like, I don't know, maybe you were just very well emotionally intelligent, equipped to
Couldn't always cry.
discern what emotions to keep and display and what emotions to like not. But where do you think, like, how did you know to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if someone tells, because people still today in 30s and 40s have not cried, have not expressed emotion
Something
because they
wrong
don't
with
want
them.
to not look like a man.
Something not wrong with those people. I'm only when I'm saying men this or proper men, I'm talking about people who don't have nothing probably wrong with them.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
A proper man cry sometime, yell sometime, laugh sometime, express sometime. It's you get everything.
Okay.
Um, but even growing up, I was taught not to cry sometimes.
Do you cry?
Yeah, like I was taught not to cry in certain rooms. I was taught not to cry after certain interactions. I was taught not to cry. It was all type of scenarios. But at the end of the day, as a grown man, that makes sense because in certain rooms, let's say I'm in a room where um I'm doing a deal or something like that. There's four people there. I'm on one side, and the other three people they're on the other side of the deal. And let's say they over there snickering, laughing. I might have heard somebody say something about my glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that shit. I might got my best pair of shoes on, but to them, these the worst pair of shoes they ever seen. And they acting up, and they acting like it. And I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught at a very early age. Ain't no expression of emotion about those things. Just keep it pushing. Don't cry about that shit. You shouldn't even want to cry about it. Because why? Because the world is not built for those type of expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And you just learn that by trial and error. Some men don't learn that by trial and error. Some niggas just get cooked with the bad side.
Do you think that's due to like lack of like role models? Because I was speaking with someone, and this is more of like a Black community thing, but he was talking about how um, basically Black people are in a certain space because of lack of certain leadership. Like back in the day, we had the people who organized the things, let's say Black Panthers, let's say, just historical things that kind of progressed Black people. Um, but he was saying that he feels like where we're lacking is the male leadership. And I disagree. I think that the leadership is out there, but I just don't think that people are like tuned in or tapped in or paying attention or really care to really be advanced in that way. So do you think there is a lack of male role models to where men aren't learning the things that they need to learn or how to operate in the world?
No, I don't think men aren't able to learn. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a men thing. I think as a people, women aren't learning what they should learn. Men aren't learning what they should learn. I think as a group, as a collective, our species aren't getting the information we need to succeed in different spaces. I don't think it's the
Well,
lack
why
of.
is that? We're literally in the age of information. Everything is out there.
You're right, but it's a mindset, mind you. All of our this is a whole nother conversation outside of masculinity and
Hmm.
femininity.
Hmm.
But our people, we are we are being pushed down by a big invisible boot.
Hmm.
It's visible by some, but by large, it's an invisible boot that's pushing us down. And it's through music that degrades us, that changes our image of us. It's through the food that we eat that lowers our vibration, lowers our thoughts,
Hmm.
slows our brain energy down. It's
The
through
activities we partake in.
the activities, like our luxuries, our leisures, everything is all the boot that's pushing us down. I think that the boot, the lack of being able to see the boot, the lack of being able to operate outside of the boot is what's leading to our downfall. I don't think it's necessarily the lack. Of course, more male proper figures to do good, more female proper figures to do good for both, of course. But I don't think the reason men aren't this and that and women aren't this and that is strictly because of
Yeah, I don't
that.
think it's so black and white.
Because what about the men who fall out of the box, who literally fit the perfect check boxes emotionally and all the other leads,
Hmm.
and the women who do the same,
They're doing okay.
they're doing good. And it's not you not gonna sit here and say, well, if this shit applied for everybody, then there's a problem. But there's a possibility for good men and women, feminine and masculine, emotional expression. There's a proper route and a proper it's available for everybody to grab.
I agree. I agree.
The niggas ain't people not gonna grab it because they don't know to grab it. The boot is too strong. They don't even know to grab it. They don't look to grab it. They don't know nobody who grabbed it. So they ain't gonna grab it. If they do know people who grabbed it, it's such outlier.
They don't think it could happen for them.
Not even they don't even think of it happening for them.
Yeah.
They don't even want it to happen for real.
Yeah.
Not that they don't want it, they just ain't a thing. I think that's the case for male emotions and women emotions. I think that's just a thing for us in general.
I guess it is all about perspective because I'm thinking about it in the sense of like not getting along, but it's like there's like some dissonance there. Like I don't feel like men and women are working harmoniously together.
Hell no.
I don't think that. And I think that should be the case.
Yeah,
And that's my thing is like if it's not the toxic masculinity, if it's not women not doing their job, what's the disconnect?
Easy. Men and women now, especially I can't even say this for every culture, specifically for our culture, it's not it's not a displayed like this is not the dominant display of relations. Like how about this? We not nobody wants us to work. So
Mm-hmm.
everything that we get, we see, we perceive is to promote us not working together.
Mm-hmm.
When, let's say me, for example, if I were to date a new young lady that I just met at the mall yesterday, 9 times out of 10, a lot of her ideals are against mine. A lot of her expectations are against mine, just off the rip.
How do you know? You don't know this woman.
I don't know this woman, but I know the bulk of what the women in her age, her region, her interest area,
Which are
what? If she a young black woman,
what
a
are
young
her
melanated woman,
what are her thoughts that you naturally inherently would disagree with?
I'm already knowing that she probably won't. She probably got a list of things that she want out of a dude, out of me, how she want me to act, but don't got a list just as long that displays what I would want from her.
Mm-hmm.
We already not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she got expectations on what I should be delivering, how I should show up, how I should talk, what I should do that'll make her happy. But she don't got that expectation for herself, for me. Mm-hmm. And the list goes on. She's already thinking I'm built for her, but she not already built for me or somebody like me. Not even just me specifically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Probably 9 times out of 10. And the disconnect be when we trying to close that large ass gap.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the disconnect start. That's when it get hard and dating just become a long cycle of incompatible links.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just what was planned for us. I don't think in this day and age we were supposed to be a people with merging expectations for one another. The other households, Mexicans, whites, and all of these other people, off the ripper, 9 times out of 10, if a Mexican boy meet a Mexican girl, she already primed for that man.
Yeah.
For real. I guess it's like the expectation, how she show up in a relationship, what she do, what she don't do, how she dress, how she talk, how she act, what's her role,
it's primed.
Her deliverables. She already coming through ready. Our women not the same. They coming through fucked up for real. Like, but also you gotta think, they coming through fucked up, but we coming through fucked up too.
True.
So
that's why we need to work together.
Yeah.
And not be so dissonant.
If that was possible.
It is possible.
If it was likely. If it was probable.
That's a better word.
Like the plan to separate us has already happened. And in the plan to separate us, the potential of joining us just became so much harder. Like, it's hard to even have conversations that lead to us closing the distance gap because of our opposite thoughts.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, you so far on one side, I'm so far on one side. It's hard to even join and work together eventually. So
with that, one of my last questions is, so what does that look like when it's expressed in love? And let's say in a relationship, like you meet someone and y'all are willing to hear each other out, meet each other in the middle. What are your expectations? What are my expectations? What does that look like in the relationship for you? Like, if the men is showing up properly, if the women is showing up properly, if it's not just the, protect, provide, do the things, like, what does that look like practically? Maybe idealistically, but also practically. Because I think, and just from listening to my friends or people who are dating, it's like the men are showing up in the ways that they think women want, but it's also like not enough.
So, but that's the thing. I oftentimes think it'd never be enough for most women, unless it's everything.
Because the expectation is too high.
Potentially, I can't really figure out why it's never enough for women. I've not been able to conclude that part, but I don't think
it's internal daddy issues.
It's internal issues. Period. Like, I don't think enough is gonna be enough. But what's interesting about what you just said is men show up to the peak of what they think women might want, but it ain't enough. are those same women showing up to the peak of what men might want?
I think they are.
I don't think they do at all. I don't think they do at all. I think they show up to the peak of what women want to be. They show up with that and then push that on the men.
I see that.
I don't think
I
they
see
showing
that.
up peak what men want. You know, yeah.
I see that. But the question, how do you think the man should show up in the relationship?
I think a man, if you're a proper man, I think you should be able to evaluate and express where you lack. Not even lack in a bad way, but like, for example, me personally, I'm not that good at caring about things that aren't whatever the goal is in front of me. Like
tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision. I'm locked in.
Like single focused.
But I could have 5 goals, or 4 goals, or so I'm quadruply focused. Or whatever the goals are. That's what I'm thinking about. I don't care about the rest of the shit. And I'm choosing that way though. I could choose to be that. I could choose to be the way you. I mean, if I wanted to, I could remember and care about all type of shit. But I don't want to. Back in the day, before I had super heavy goals and all these expectations for myself and others and all of this shit the niggas working on, before all of that came, I cared about all that shit. I remembered everything about shit that didn't matter. That doesn't matter now. I remembered all of that. Cared about it. The rule, like I cared about it. It was a thing. But so it's not that niggas can't do it. But
I'm sorry. Back to that.
Yeah. So the question. So, I think that a man should be able to properly evaluate where he lacks and what he's very good at, and based on that evaluation, he should be able to then express those evaluations to his woman, and that's who does what. That's who takes the reign under those topics or those things. If I'm not good at organizing, but I'm good at delegating, I leave delegation to me. We're gonna leave organizing to her. If I'm just not good at delegating, I'm not good at expressing myself that well, but she is, fuck it, that's her job. Like, and the list goes on. But as a proper man, you should be able to evaluate your goods and your not so goods, and you should always be able to present an opportunity for somebody to make up for where you lack. That's what proper men should do.
But in a more, let's say, superficial way, for relationships specifically, because some people will say men are showing up when they're taking initiative, planning the dates, checking in, calling, doing those things. And if they're not making time to see me, if they're not asking about my well-being, or, making an effort to show interest or spending money on me or doing things like that, then he's not showing up. Do you think those things are important? Because the women that I speak about, both who are in relationships or speak to in dating, it's like, and maybe this is the disconnect, it's like the man is being evaluated on, it's like how well you show up. So my thing is, how do you think proper men show up in healthy relationships? Because if it's not, is it planning the dates? Is it taking initiative? Is it, you know what I mean?
So that's hard. That's a little different for me to answer, because I might fall into the bad bucket on that.
Okay.
Because to me, I'm not planning no date.
None at all, ever?
Unless I want to do something.
Again, back to the selfish thing.
Yeah, sure. Yes, very much so, actually. If I want to do something and I want you to come with me, then yeah, of course I'm going to plan that. Or if I wanted to plan that, or how you plan it, of course.
But if we're talking about, back to Bell Hooks, All About Love, I'm sorry for interrupting you. She defines love as not a feeling, but an action, and the things that you would be willing to do for someone because you are in love with them in a more spiritual way. Like, you care for their well-being. You want to see them do well. You want to do good things for them. So
I agree.
If taking me out on a date is something that signifies to me you care about me and my well-being and my happiness and my joy and my peace and all that, why would you never plan a date?
Never. It's crazy. I wouldn't say, like I said, I was listing out scenarios in which I would plan the date.
Okay, that's true.
So
That's true.
that
But it was
never.
still very
But it's just
you
it's not a
focused.
thing that I'm just about to just be doing because that's what's gonna quote unquote keep one happy and keep one feeling love. I don't think that's nobody's job.
Right, I agree. Your
Like
happiness is your own job.
like and I don't think love should be based on the dates that y'all went on and all of that shit, how much money was spent on you, and all of those things. I think love should be based on um I mean, it's definitions for love for everybody. I can come up with my own shit and say that that's what everybody should feel, but it ain't.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm not even gonna get on that. But again, to finish the question answering, I think proper males should show up. Because the whole one second, the bigger picture is for men to provide, protect, and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. If that's the case, then most men grow up with that expectation for themselves. So it's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's probably gonna get done. And he's gonna protect, he's gonna lead, he's gonna provide. And anything after that, I feel like is a luxury. I don't think it's a requirement for proper love or proper quote unquote showing up. I just think anything past that is more like honestly a luxury.
Luxury?
Yeah. At the end of the day. And when the luxuries don't happen, I don't think that means quality of relations or quality of the love or quality of all of that goes down. I just think it just kind of.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It is definitely like now if you in a position to, of course you should provide luxuries in your friendship, relationships, family ships, as much as you can. But
I think it's I'm having an issue with what you're defining as a luxury because to the whole, is this, what is it? What do they say? Princess treatment or bare minimum? To me, it sounds like you're saying women are expecting, like, men are doing the bare minimum and anything else is a luxury. But it's like,
no, I don't think it's not the bare minimum.
what I mean by that is the whole protecting and providing. Like,
But
if
that's
they're
not even for y'all to even blanket that as bare minimum. That's a
is
problem.
crazy.
That's a very big problem. The bare minimum might require a nigga dying for you. The bare minimum is somebody taking something out of their own resource bank and giving it away for your happiness. Enough to where they might be in a resource bank deficit for your smile.
That's a luxury.
We calling these things bare minimal. That's absurd. So the initial expectation is already
skewed. Yeah.
Fucked.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, the whole princess treatment bit. Are you a princess? Princesses are dime and 40 dozen. You see what I'm saying? Princesses are already coming, prepared, taught, trained, perfect, untouched, the whole nine.
They're wanting the princess treatment, but they're not a princess.
Nowhere near it, actually. Not even a servant.
That's crazy. Not so even a servant is crazy.
Its expectations is skewed. Bare minimum is crazy. Princess treatment expectation is also crazy. Like when do women actually get the treatment that they quote unquote want or deserve? Because I think it's easy to misconstrue when I'm saying that's the saying women don't deserve it. Women to never get, women to never like.
No, but it's there's an entry point.
Yes.
It's not like just because you want a man, he needs to treat you this way.
Yes. And even to have the expectation for men to show up in these ways, that's very compromising to self. The whole being in a relationship for a man is compromising to self. Compromising your time, your money, your effort, your attention, your goals, your interests, your energy, your sperm, your everything. It's being put somewhere that you probably ain't. It's just being put somewhere that ain't you.
That's my other question. So, do you think men show up better or perform better when they're singled or when they're coupled?
Depend on the woman. Depends on the woman.
Okay.
Now, if you got somebody that's additive, every time you put those inputs in, you get an output that's worth it, then by all means.
Coupled.
But if you putting in all the things I just listed, energy, sperm, all of this shit, time, sex, all of that stuff into a person, but what you get back is the same thing you would have got back if you were single, plus a kiss and a conversation, then you probably better off single.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, at the end of the day, man, I think expectations is a big thing. Like in terms of expectations on how men should show up, how women should show up, the idea of toxic masculinity versus people being selfish, sexual exclusivity, princess treatment, how women should treat men, how men show up, how women should show up. All of these things, I think the expectation for people are skewed as hell.
I think so too. I think so too. For men and women though, for
For both.
everybody.
For both, yes. I think the expectation is way too skewed. And having such skewed expectations is leading us to fail in categories of understanding, not even failing and performing in the actual categories of relationships or happiness, not even the actual categories themselves. We gon' fail in those because we failed to understand it before we even got into it.
Right.
And I think that all starts with the expectation. And I think the way to close the gap is for both parties, to accept both parties. And if it's possible for us to understand and accept each party for how they come, not by how they manipulated from society and who taught you that, no, none of that, but however you coming for real and how you really feel at the core, if we could change those things, those expectations, I think we'd be able to succeed. But again, you're gonna have to have a lot more people be able to express the boot, see the boot, understand the boot before we can ever like get out of that.
Make some progress.
Yeah.
You have any last words?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And until next time.